Hi, everyone. This is Bailey Liu with the Washington State Charter School Association, your host for the Fundraising Learning Series, where I bring in experts to talk about equity-driven fundraising practices. Today, I'm speaking with Gillia Bakie, the principal for Flaker Consulting and the former development director of WA Charters. She's a seasoned grant writer specializing in corporate and institutional giving strategy and served as a board member of the Puget Sound Grant Writing Association. She will provide some tips for writing successful grant proposal. Welcome, Julia. I'm so excited you're here. You're such a seasoned grant writer and written so many grants and proposal. If you had to pick 3 tips to share with us for writing a successful grant proposal, what would it be?
I have so many more than 3, of course, but I think my top 3 would be number 1, make sure that you're really clear about the problem that you're trying to solve. Sometimes organizations are so familiar with the challenge, it's hard for them to communicate what it is that they're actually trying to do. And as a part of that, what's really important when you talk about the problem you're trying to solve is being really clear about the community's actual demand for your solution. So when you talk about your problem, you need to make sure that you're also talking about community demand. As we know, programs shouldn't just be parachuting into communities and trying to provide programming. We should be working with communities and optimally have community-led solutions. So that is number 1. Be clear about the problem, be clear about the demand. Number 2 is ensuring you really understand and can articulate your short, midterm, and long-term impact with actual measures. Funders want to know what they're going to get for their money, which sounds terrible, but also is important for them to understand that you know what you're trying to do. And even if those impact measures are super creative, like thinking about getting qualitative feedback about the quality of your program and how it's changing individual lives, that's great. You just need to be clear on what it is that you're trying to do and be able to really communicate that to your funder. So one way to do that is to really be clear about those short, midterm, and long-term impacts. And then the third is to align your language as much as possible with theirs, so they see the crosswalk between your interests. I will caveat that in saying that some funders have quite problematic language that they use, or quite savior focused ways of interacting with community where they're in a sort of white savior mode or just saviorism mode. So make sure that you're crosswalking as much as possible and in alignment with your values, because sometimes you also need to do a little bit of education in your applications around why you're using different terms or why you talk about the challenge differently from them. So that's my top 3.
Thank you, Julia. And I really appreciate you bringing up community demand and how easy we fall into saviorism in our grant proposals.